So here we are, walking on down to the river. Welcome back, viewers. Got another couple of see now this is a different strain here, and these actually come out quite spicy, but they kind of look similar as the other ones. So, you know, I don't know what gives, but as you can see, this little lot here is going to start producing some hot and spicy ones. So anyways, my little, man, I got to clean this up. It's been about a month since I cleaned up my beautiful pineapples here. So yeah, I definitely got to go through this in the next couple of days before it starts pouring again. Because yeah, we've had a good, what, 3, 4, 5 days now without rain, and this is supposed to be the rainy season, so it's kind of overcast today. Since about, I don't know, 4 or 5 in the morning since I got up, I haven't had any signal, any internet. Here, see another big cocona coming up here. Each cocona will give you about 20, 25, 30 fruit if grown properly. Like for example, like these ones here. And basically, it's a one harvest kind of plant. So this plant will only produce once, and it'll just die off, and then you just gotta chop out the root, and then using some of the branches, knowing which ones have the female seed, you can regrow then, of course, an abundance of these. So this is a very common fruit called cocona here in the Amazon. And yeah, using the female branches, you just continue regrowing. See, I got another big one here. I got a nice 4 or 5 inch at the stump papaya tree there. Oh, I got a couple of papaya ready. I'm gonna have to come back and pick those a little bit later. As you can see, my platanos are coming in thick and heavy. I'm gonna chop down one of these. Actually, let's do it now. Let me see if I can do this while holding up my phone. So, see, these are pretty much ready. As you can see, the tree's tilting quite a bit. So I'm just gonna cut this right there. Boom. And then basically you gotta cut down the entire tree at as low as to the stump as you can, because then what happens is it'll just start regrowing. It'll just start regrowing out of the stump for some new ones. So let's get ready to cut this down. Boom. That's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. And basically, this is a one-handed job. So, see, and you just cut that down a little lower, maybe another 2 feet down, and this will regrow some beautiful new platanos. But these are the gorditos. These are the fat platanos, which make very sweet marmalade or jam. And these are so heavy. I mean, this is about that's about 15 kilos right there, maybe. So the price for one of these at the farmer's market is a good 35, 40 soles. It was even as high as like 45, 50, 55 soles during the quarantine. Now that we're back in another quarantine, if I was to take a few of these down to the market today or tomorrow, yeah, I'd probably fetch myself a good maybe 40, because, you know, if as a foreigner, even though, you know, I own land here, even though I'm a producer, You know, even though you know, I have legal residence here and the whole shebang, the minute you go down to the market, you are judged by the color of your skin, you know. So, you know, and I accept that. You know, many people would be like, oh my God, you know, that's racism. But hey, that's life over here, you know. You know, back in other countries where, you know, the majority is white, you know, people try to erase racism as much as they can. But, you know, it'll always exist. And you know what I mean? Like, I don't really get offended here. But for example, if I go down to the market, to the farmers, to the producers market, you know, they'll look at me, and even though, you know, I kind of dress like a local, I don't really dress like a tourist. They know, I mean, they know I'm a local, but because I'm white, there's always going to be an element of negotiating. They're going to try to get me down on price, but that's normal. You know, but for example, if I give that wreath of platanos to my neighbor, and he goes down there's no negotiating. You know, there's a set sort of producers, farmers, market price, and boom, he takes one there. They weigh it. If it's got the weight, boom, he gets the money. He gets the money that's sort of that it currently goes for. You know, but for example, I will have to sort of, you know, talk until I'm red in the face. Try a few distributors, a few stalls, and that's all right. You know, that's all right. I accept it. You know, I'm in a foreign country, trying to make a life here for myself, and sometimes that's what you got to put up with. You know, and one thing, you know, like sort of you know, back when I was, you know, 7-8 years old, we emigrated from Poland out to the States. And, you know, as a small sort of kid, all my formative years, I grew up in Chicago. And, you know, you kind of don't, like, you know, I've never really experienced racism apart from maybe like xenophobia, you know, growing up, you know, in school, at the park, you know, anywhere you kind of went, outside of your house, you know, I'd be called a Polak, and, you know, hey, you fucking immigrant, and, you know, go back to where you came from, you know, look at him, you know, he's fresh off the boat, you know. So I grew up with a lot of that, you know. Of course, any immigrant in America has, regardless of the color of your skin. But I never really experienced like racism, you know, because of the color of my skin. So, you know, but sort of the last three and a half years out here, you know, I have, because, you know, that's just the way things are here. Wherever you go, you're gonna try to, you know, get taken for a few of your dollars. You know, you're gonna be asked to pay more. You're gonna have to negotiate. You know, just kind of, I just see it as like, hey, it's keeping me a little sharp on that front, you know, because you just don't walk into any market, any mall, any store, with your eyes closed, you know. You kind of always gotta keep your head up. And yeah, you can't just take offense to everything, because otherwise you would never get, you know, you'd never get anywhere. For example, in Peru, as a white person, you know, so, you know, but you kind of like, sometimes you're like, hey, like you'll be walking next to some stall, and then all of a sudden, you know, there's somebody selling something, and, you know, one of the locals will walk by and say, hey, you know, how much? And you kind of like 6-7 feet away, you know, you're eavesdropping on their conversation. then, you know, and you hear like, oh, you know, that's 2 soles a kilo. And you kind of like, you know, walk around, go back to that same stall, and you go, hey, how much, you know, how much for the, you know, whatever, for the potatoes, let's say. How much for the potatoes? And of course, you know, you being white, right away they'll tell you $3.50 or $4. They'll try to, you know, sort of charge you double price, because the perception is that, you know, hey, white people, they have money. Even ones like me that live over here, there's always that perception that like, hey, Gringo, you know, Gringo can pay more because Gringo has money, you know. So, you know, but like I said, you can't take offense to that, because you'd be pulling your hair out after like 2 days over here. You just kind of, you know, just got. I mean, I like to have some fun with it. Hello, Achilles. Achilles, you came to visit. You came to visit, my baby boy. Hello, Baba. Hello, Baba. Where you been? Where you been, you little monster? It's one of my former dogs, Achilles. Well, anyways, yeah, as I was saying, you know, I try to have fun with it, because if you have fun with it, you know, then it's like a nice little game you can play. Like, hey, you can barter, you can like, and then there was times like somebody was trying to charge me for something, but I had fruits to sell. They tried to overcharge me, but then, you know, I said, hey, let's barter. Like, I'll give you XYZ fruits or vegetables that I grow, and maybe we could trade. And some people will trade, some people won't. But I remember when traveling through the Middle East, back in sort of my London days, whenever I traveled through the Middle East, that's kind of how it was everywhere, you know, from Turkey to Israel to Jordan to Algeria to Morocco. You know, everywhere you stop, you gotta kind of barter, you gotta haggle, you gotta you know, you want to make sure you know, you're sort of sharp, and it becomes like you know, part of your culture and stuff. So it's not a bad deal. But you know what's a good deal is these bell peppers that have been coming up. Look at these bad boys. Look at these babies. Look at these babies go. Mein Gott. Oh yes. Now that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. I planted this shrub maybe about I don't know, 8 months ago, and it's already been about 3 or 4 good harvests. You know, every week or two, I get a nice sized little harvest. But anyways, yeah. So that's sort of one thing I wanted to convey today. And my cacao's coming in. Look at these bad boys. Look at these bad boys. I gotta harvest this cacao because I see a lot of them are ready to be fucking picked. Excuse the language. Let's have a go at this one. All right. Beautiful cacao. Oh yes, baby. I think I showed you guys in a couple of movies back how this cacao thing works. But in any case, maybe in a couple of movies I'll refresh your memories. But anyways, I'll speak to you guys in a bit. I gotta go check on the South 40, and we'll be in touch soon. So thank you for tuning in again, and we speak soon. Hasta la ciao ciao.